friends, I'm the Rev, and this is Osiris New Dawn. And if you have not played in the last few months, and we are sitting in, of course, July of 2017, things have changed a lot. First, we've got 4 different classes that we can choose from. And we're just going to start a new one here. So we've got the Scientist. And they are primarily focused on making chemicals and things of that nature, character modifications, which will of course be coming in the near future. You have the Ranger, and as the Ranger is the all-around even class. If you're playing single player like I play, this is the one you want to do because it will give you an even distribution of talent points. Then we have the Marine, which is of course all about combat. And then we have the Engineer, which is about building. This is the one that you would use to build your habitat and your vehicles. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the Ranger because that is the most evenly balanced class, and I'm going to show you guys how to survive. Like I said, things have changed a lot from where things were a few months ago. So we'll go into the Ranger slot. Now each one of these guys do have a different starting loadout. The Scientist, you get a chisel and a bar. You guys will see the Ranger in a sec. The Marine, you get a gun and a combat knife. And the Engineer, you get a pipe bender. So we're going to go with the Ranger because I have actually gotten pretty far ahead with a secondary character. Now of course you can do colors. This is all cosmetic, so it does not affect your character at all, but this does. So we've got our stat points, and my recommendation would be 3 in stamina, which is how long you can run. Strength, how much you can carry, put 3 there. How fast you can run, of course speed, and then 1 in health. Now comes the tree. You're going to look and you say, hey, there's question marks and it looks a lot different. Yes, it does. They put in a few new things, such as stone ovens, primitive workbench, and these are the ones that we're going to be working with first. And I will of course show you guys that so that we can smelt things, and then we can get into making things like the plutonium forge. But being that he is evenly balanced, first thing you're going to have to do is hit 1 on each. And then from here, it's up to you. My suggestion would be, of course, to hit the one here, and we're going to want those 2 to begin with. And we should have enough to get our forge. And then the other most important thing is going to be our chisel, because without that, we can't get any of the resources because everything else breaks really fast. So you're gonna have to get that chisel. And we've got a few points left over. Oh, let's get the crappy axe. And do keep in mind, they do need to do a lot of balancing still. So these weapons feel really underpowered. The only one that doesn't feel underpowered, I would say, is probably the dragon teeth. And of course, we'll get to that later. But you'll also see here, we've got to go a long ways now to unlock even the ability to make our ammo. So we've got a long ways to go here, but again, I will show you guys various steps on how you can get there quickly. And then of course, whatever name you want to apply. And now of course we've got how we want to set up our universe. So I always like having my players experience, their proficiency, and their stat all the way up, survival meters all the way down. These need to be, of course, rebalanced as it stands right now from before they did this major update and changed everything around versus what my original guides were on. The devs have made it so it takes you 4 times, at least 4 to 5 times as long to get to the spaceship and to another planet than it did before. I don't know if I agree with that, but that is what they've done. Also, they've readjusted these so that the amount that is coming at you now, I was playing before in Infested, that actually, I started in dangerous this time, and it feels like the old infested level, so it looks like they bumped all of those up by 1. Of course, you've got the damage that they do to you, and then what their health will be you can set. Then we have our resources and structure degrade rate. So if you want your structures to degrade so that you're having to constantly fix them and improve, or not improve, but constantly worry about having to fix things, you can do that, or you can turn it off. I turn it off. One last look, and let's go look at the new starting area. Alrighty folks, so here we go. So each time you get dropped in, you get a little bit different of a starter kit when it comes to the Ranger. This, the last time I did not get any, I didn't get a chisel. Instead, I got a handgun. This time, looks like we got the combat knife and the chisel. And you, in general, get the same kind of stuff here when you first start out. Ooh, we get a med kit. A little bit of chow. And this is the one thing you're going to have to make sure you're very careful with. So let's see. We'll get this stuff set up here. I'm not going to use that for a while. We'll put the map over there. I always like to put the duct tape in the very front. A chisel and then a weapon. So, spaceship trees. You want to make sure that you only get just enough so you can build one of the huts. And we'll go do that here in a second. But be very careful. It's very easy to get stuck inside of these. Something the devs need to work on. So let's see. We've got 6 and some steel. And it just might be easier for you to run on over and take it off this side. You're going to want to make sure you're looking to see where it says critical hit. Because, whoa, hello. Really? Already, huh? Woo! And of course, you're going to want to raid these guys. So we're already getting hit out here. Let's see. We've got enough to make our first structure, which is going to be the debris hut. So hold on. When we come back, I will have a debris hut, a crab hut, and a skeliopod hut all set up for you guys. So hold on 1 second. Alrighty folks, so once you sign out the first time after playing your character, as you can see, all that debris just disappears on you. If you go out there, there's a gigantic worm that can and will kill you if you're not paying attention. So we basically started right in this area here, and you want to look up for this nice bowl cut area, and you can see we've got the beginnings of a monster base. Ooh, I've survived 20 days. Actually, it's about 30 to 40 days, but to begin with, keeping enough water in your guy can be problematic. So I just get in a place where I can kill him off, and then you get your character completely redone. Ooh, we are going to grab the satellite though. Ooh, small solar panel kit. You'll get a lot of those, but coming over this way, this is the best spot to build your hut. Ugh, there we go. So you first start out, you build your debris hut, and then you start working towards mining what you need to make our plutonium forge. Now the reason I like this area so much is you can see here when you bring up your map, it lets you scan what the resources are. And we've got a bunch of precious metals, and then we have a bunch of rocks. And you're going to have to gather the rocks so that you can make, first and foremost, your stone oven. Now in your stone oven, once you go out and mine the specific resources you need, For instance, in this case, we'd be going for a plutonium forge, so we're going to have to go out and get just enough iron, titanium, and plutonium. And you can see here it takes 3 of the ores to make 1 bar. But that is the first thing that we're going to make. Now, one of the things that they changed around was that your ability to cook all the meat from the aliens that you're going to be killing can only be done in the stone oven or inside the habitat. So you're going to have to keep a stone oven open and by you at most of the time. And then of course you're going to have to make the work table, our primitive workbench here, and there is a reason for it. Because this is going to be your source of a weaponry until you can get things a little bit further along and get your plutonium forge up, so we can make a pipe, conduit bender, which is what the engineer starts with, crude metal shovel, as you can see here. It does tell you what you need to make these things: stone blade, crude metal axe head, crude metal blade, flare, and then a little bit further down in our forge we've got, of course, the chisel we'll want to be making. You do not get an inflatable dome kit, you actually have to make that yourself now. Glass container, steel. Come down a little further and you'll notice the only weapons you can make is the dragon tooth, which is probably, it's the one weapon that I use the most when fighting. And of course then we've got some of the different rounds and such. But that's it for the forge. So we have 2 other huts that you can make. We got the skeliopod, and why that has an arrow going up I don't know. And then we have the crab hut. So it says that it'll keep you hidden from creatures throughout the night. They do not. I've been attacked in both of these. Doesn't matter if I start here, doesn't matter if I run in here, stuff will hunt you down. The best thing about the crab hut is the somewhat narrow here, so I haven't had anything actually make it in, but the big crabs will clip through and they will hit you. But then that happens inside the habitat, it happens inside of everything. So once you've got, again, all of your basics here, you're going to want to move on to the chem station. Now to build the chem station, all you're going to need is steel and glass, and to get glass, of course, you just need to get a shovel and aim your guy facing at the ground. You'll pick up sand. You then come over here and you can see right here it takes 2 sand. So it does take a little bit, and that's one thing you will be doing a lot of, is just standing in place and holding buttons, because you know, on the average I'll bring in 150 to 200 in aluminum, and then I've got to stand here for the next 3 to 5 minutes whilst I forge it into something I can actually use. Now the important things here that you're going to be thinking about is, of course, plastic. You're going to need plastic to be able to make the higher end tier things, and you're going to need hydrogen. And in the next episode I will show you guys exactly where to go to get those. But me and my white friend here would like to thank you for watching today. As always, I am the Red, and we will continue on building and going and see how far we can get. So please like, favorite, and subscribe. Keep your heads down, your multi-tools up, and I will see you again. Hey, look at the camera. Real damn soon.